Designing your own house seems easy enough. You've lived in houses and know how you lived in them. However, designing your own house is a complex, challenging, fascinating, and exciting journey that can surprise you. In this video, I'll give you some great things to consider for this journey. Hi there, I'm Cale with Hodeby, Home Design by You, where I bring you design tips and guides for your new house design. So you're interested in designing your own house. You've probably already created a list of rooms and spaces you want and jotted down the sizes you think will work. You've added these up to an overall size of house you want. You might also have an aesthetic design in mind and research various plans for inspiration. I want you to put all that aside. In this video, I'll walk you through important things to consider while designing your house to guide you in your planning and design. As a bonus, I'll walk you through the drawing phases used to create concepts, develop the design, and create the documents you'll need to build the house. Be sure to stay to the end. Let's get started. When designing a house, you need to start with the right information to guide you on your journey. The first step is to figure out what you need and what you want. To do this, you can list out the rooms and spaces you desire. However, don't just jot down room sizes you think will work. Each space should be sized by what you want to do in it and the furniture layout that works best for how you live. To size your space, start with your furniture layout before you decide on a room size. You should create a simple plan diagram for each room and space, using grid paper where each square or two squares can represent a foot, or whatever metric increment you'll use. You can also use a simple drawing program if you want, but don't waste your time if you don't have one yet. You don't need it. Also, don't worry about having a perfectly drawn plan. It doesn't have to be pretty, so just draw a loose hand with a pencil using the grid lines as a guide. Remember, this is for you to use as a guide. It's not art. This diagram should start with furniture. Place how you'd like it. Be sure to use representative furniture sizes. First, measure your existing furniture pieces that you want in the new house. You should then research any new furniture you want, selecting representative placeholders for each type, using them as the general size you think you'll want. You can draw each piece of furniture on each plan option you draw, or you can cut out each furniture piece. The cutout pieces can be placed on the grid until you get what you think is a good layout option, taking a photo of that idea before going on to the next. For your living spaces, place the chairs, sofas, and tables in comfortable seating groups arranged to focus on what's most important, such as a TV, fireplace, or view through a window. You might want multiple seating areas, especially if you entertain a lot. Decide on any other things you want in the room, such as shelving or display units, a game or dining table, a piano, or any other interesting item that'll take up floor space. Be sure to account for comfortable distances to access the seating group and to provide circulation within the room. Don't worry about getting it perfect the first time. You'll need to draw several diagrams and play with various layout ideas before you get it right. Once you have your ideal layout, use the appropriate clearances to determine the overall width and length you need for your ideal room. This will give you the square footage to list for the room. Do the same for your kitchen, laundry room, bathrooms, bedrooms, and any other space in the house. You should also do this for any outdoor living spaces such as porches, patios, decks, outdoor kitchens, any seating or dining groups, a swimming pool, and sunbathing areas. Once you've completed the room diagrams for the interior of the house, tally up the areas of each and add them all together. Take that sum and multiply by 10% for wall thicknesses and another 10% for circulation, storage, and any additional space that might be created when you plan your house. Add these numbers together to get your overall house square footage. Before you start creating plans for your house, you should do some research. You likely started this already. However, I want you to consider some important things. Besides any imagery you've collected from online sources, books, or magazines, you should visit open houses for similar-sized homes to look at things you like, don't like, or things you want to consider. Also, visit showrooms for new developments to see what finish options are typically being provided for similar-sized houses. Next, drive around and look at the various exterior styles of houses in your current and new neighborhood and around your community. Be sure to notice the different sizes, materials, and proportions that are used, especially on older homes of a traditional style. I'm not trying to get you to design a traditional house unless you want one. I love modern style houses as well as older houses. But older houses, especially those built before World War II, tend to have clear design styles with better materials, proportions, and details than you find on most houses built today. Since that time, house styles have been dominated by developers of large subdivisions or contractors that built spec houses for sale. Most mid-century houses were fairly straightforward in their design, some bland, some quirky, but some quite nice. Today, developer houses tend to be anything from bland to garish and poorly proportioned, mixing and matching style elements and materials. This has created miles of Frankenstein's monster aesthetics that are rarely good and often awful. Sadly, we've become so used to poorly designed and downright ugly houses that we've come to accept them as okay or even desirable. Many custom homes, especially those of the McMansion infestation, have succumbed to this awfulness, with clients and designers thinking more of everything is better. You shouldn't. Learn all you can about what makes specific styles work well, the materials that make up the style, and the proportions, details, and relationships that give the style its character. Use this knowledge in your new house design, even if you want a modern house, as the best design styles are well proportioned and nicely detailed, characteristics that can apply to even the most modern styles. Good houses have a clarity in their design, use of materials, and details. A good house does not look like it was mashed together and is not created using pieces of different styles. A good house will also not overwhelm its neighbors visually or in size. You've probably been looking at the thousands of floor plans you can find online. Be careful, as you can get caught up in the pretty pictures of the exterior style, while its floor plan could be a mess without you noticing. Even most house plans from online plan services are mediocre at best, even if they claim quality design. Learn what makes a good floor plan. A good plan should have clear circulation that doesn't zigzag throughout the house, and circulation that doesn't force long paths to do day-to-day things such as getting laundry to and from the washer and dryer to the bedroom closets. Circulation through the house should not run through or across a living space, especially through a seating group or between the seating and its focus, such as TV, fireplace, or the view. Good houses have clarity to the plan. Circulation, sequence of rooms and spaces, their relationships and proportions should make sense and should never be convoluted. The best plans have such a strong concept that you can easily discern their overall design intent. Before you start designing a house, you should have a site purchased for your new home. That site should be thoroughly analyzed, finding out where the site can be accessed, where the local utilities run, how the ground slopes, and how drainage occurs. Locate any rock outcroppings, trees, and bushes. Note how the sun travels during the season, the direction seasonal winds blow, where storms tend to come from, and where the best views occur. You should also know all zoning requirements and limitations, especially any setback, house size, and house footprint limitations. Once you've learned all of this, you can start designing. For your bonus, I'll be walking you through the drawing phases you'll use to design and document your house design. Start your house design with concept drawings, using simple sketch plans to create various options. Use rough rectangular shapes for rooms and spaces, showing how they can be placed and relate to each other. Walls and accurate dimensions are not important at this stage, just the relationships of the rooms and spaces. Again, you can do this on a drawing program if you want, but it's not necessary. Create lots of options, moving things around and adjusting things. Be sure to also design for your site to make sure you take advantage of all opportunities. Once you settle on a concept, you can start drawing actual plans and drawings. The initial phase for these drawings is called schematic design. This is when you take your selected concept, called a scheme, and draw it up as an actual floor plan. You'll start showing specific wall thicknesses and the locations and sizes of doors and windows. You'll also draw the building exterior, shown as elevation drawings, and create a roof plan. After you finish the schematic design, getting your plan and exterior just right, you'll move to the design development phase. This is when you get into the meat of your design. You'll determine the specifics of all elements of the project, finessing the special design elements for the house to make sure everything is sized appropriately. You'll also figure out how the different elements of the house relate to each other. Your final selection of the materials and finishes for the project will be made, recording the manufacturer and model numbers for the various components of the house. These will include such items as windows, doors, fixtures, lighting, hardware, and equipment. You'll also finalize how the mechanical and plumbing systems run throughout the house, including how these systems are tied into the utility services available at the site. The final drawing phase is contract documents. These documents include the information needed for bidding, permitting, and constructing your house. They consist of all drawings showing what's to be built along with written specifications outlining the specifics of all materials and products that go into the project. This information becomes the basis of the construction cost and your agreement with the general contractor. The drawings will include all construction details needed to build the project, along with the various schedules outlining the numerous fixtures, doors, windows, hardware, room finishes, and equipment that go into the house. The specifications address not only the specifics of materials and products, but also describe the quality of installation and all warranty requirements. They also address how the contractor is to perform their work, as well as processing for submitting information for your review, payment, and closing out the project upon completion of construction. Completing the contract documents will give you a package that a general contractor and his subcontractors use to create a bid price and to build out the house. This package can also be submitted to the local authority to obtain approvals for construction. Be sure to check with your local authority to see what information will be required, as they often won't need the whole package. Use the information in this video as a guide to research and learn about good planning, design, and aesthetics. Once you learn this and become more comfortable and confident, you can start your design journey. Be sure to go to www.hodeby.com, that's HODEBY.com, to find a lot more information on house designs. I'm Cale, hoping you have a lot of fun designing your new home.